Hey, welcome to episode number 44. Sorry, YouTube. We're just hopping on for the first time. You didn't miss anything. We're just nonsensical over here right now.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you're here. In case you don't know, if you're listening to the podcast, we have a YouTube version of the show. We do it live Wednesdays. It's a little late. It's 11 o'clock right now Eastern, so it'd be 8 Pacific. And we also, if you're watching the YouTube show, this is also a podcast. And you can get that at kramerandjess.com. I want to catch up from last week really quick. I don't even remember how we got to this topic where we were saying, is there anybody that listens to our podcast while naked?
Yes.
How did we get there? Do you remember?
So I asked that question because one of our listeners, Sam, when he posted on Instagram about about our podcast, he was like, I was in the shower listening to my podcast, and then I had to get out of the shower and watch the YouTube episode because I needed to see what was going on. And I was like, y'all listen to the podcast in the shower? That's tight. I love that.
So then we want to talk to you, like anybody listening to the podcast naked as you're listening to it, because we just want to figure out like what that actual
what's going on.
Like, why are you naked right now while you're listening to the podcast? I mean, some podcasts I'm sure I listen to naked. I've just never really like processed it as like I'm listening to this podcast while naked.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
What am I doing?
Right. So we got a call, and you can always call us anytime you want to. We got a voicemail set up, 855 Kramer Jess.
Okay, Kramer and Jess, this is Belia calling from San Diego. I'm just minding my business, listening to my favorite podcast, and you called me out, Kramer. I am naked. I am about to get in the shower because this is the only time I have to myself with my 2-year-old and my twin newborns. So the shower is my only time I have to myself, and this is when I choose to listen to you guys. So thanks for calling me out. Love you guys. Miss you guys out here, but I listen every week. Bye.
It's very sweet.
I love that so much because when you're in the shower, you're just so in your thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
So the fact that you would want to share that space with us makes me feel so honored.
And it's like your only time.
Yeah.
Like you just said, it's my only time I had. And you took time to when you got out of the shower to also call and just be like, hey, what's up? I'm naked. What's good? Like, what?
That's so cool.
That's cool. Okay, so I want to send a simple reminder about our podcast. If you're listening to this is not the radio show. Typically, this space is there's so much content that we produce right throughout the week. So just so you know, the radio show is kind of like it's a good, you can enter at any time, and like it's easy to get into. We'll always kind of remind you who's who. It's pretty and the topics are always PG to PG-13 sometimes. That's kind of like when big life moments happen on the radio show, and then they kind of get bigger on the podcast. Then I've got Certified Mama's Boy, and that's like me and my mom kind of breaking down life. So that's like a little tame too. There's nothing too wild that happens over there. Jess has her podcast, which just dropped again this week. It was great.
Yeah, Lowkey. That's just really whatever I feel like talking about.
That's the feelings, though.
That's the feelings.
Like, there's always a lot of emotion in that podcast.
Yes,
right?
yes.
But the Uncensored podcast is like the seediest part of our lives, or stuff we can't say anywhere else.
Yes.
And we just expect it to be like that's what you're getting into right now. Okay, like
very personal,
very raw and intimate. And that's just know that if you're listening to this podcast, that like it gets a little wild over here, and it's like the thoughts that you only talk to like your close friends about. You know what I mean? So like if you're here and you don't feel like you're a close friend of ours, this may not be the podcast for you. You can go listen to Kramer and Jess on demand. That's nice and friendly and easy to get into. Uncensored, it's just a different layer, right? It's like the OnlyFans of our lives, if you will. So with that said, the conversation that Jess is going to have with you is one you don't want to have really in public.
No, I don't. I don't want to talk about this.
If you're in this conversation right now, just know that like you're in, right? Like you're on the inner circle of our friendship. That's kind of what we consider you. What's happening, Jessica?
I am in the process of planning another trip to Disney World with my boyfriend Garage Boy, and I'm not going to tell anybody that I'm going. I'm not going to tell anyone.
What?
Because you know
Why?
what? I'm so pissed. I am mad because my feelings are hurt, actually. My feelings are more hurt, and then it made me really angry because, like, my friends and family were so salty that I went to Disney World, and low-key made me feel bad about it and that they weren't a part of it instead of being, like, happy for me.
Well, we should say this, is that Jess just got back. When did you go? A couple weeks ago?
We went, like, 2 weeks ago.
And did you tell the story in the podcast? I can't remember if you did or not.
Of us going?
Yeah.
No.
I don't think we mentioned that. So
No,
you
no,
just
no.
went for a weekend.
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah. So the reason why I even went to Disney World in the first place was because a friend of ours from back home, he had a work thing there.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Yo, Jess in Garage, like I have tickets to Magic Kingdom to where it's only going to be my company. I have +2. You guys are already out there. Do you want to come and meet us?" And we're like, "Hell yeah!"
Cool.
Like our first time to Disney World ever, and it was just so nice of him to reach out to us. And he's very, very close to us. He's like close to both of us. We're with his family, and also getting back home from vacation was the most difficult time we've had coming back here from leaving everybody so far.
Really?
In our time, yes.
That blows my mind.
And I don't know why. We were kind of talking about it. I don't know if it's just because we spent so much time there, or we were able to see everybody so much.
Yeah. Wait. The trip from Orlando was?
No.
Oh,
like
sorry.
Back home from vacation.
Oh, okay. I thought you mean Orlando was. I was like, that surprises me.
No.
Of
When
course.
when we went on vacation to California, when we got home, we were having a difficult time, and it hasn't been that hard yet so far.
Yeah.
So for one of our best friends to be like, "Yo, me and my family are gonna be here. Come through, like come hang out, whatever." And so we did, and we could not be more excited. And the reaction from our group of friends from back home who he did not ask or like who didn't come was so shitty. And I was like, what the fuck?
Like, what were they saying?
They were just like, oh, like, thanks for the invite. And even my sister was hopping on it. Even my parents were like, we would never do anything Disney without you. All this kind of shit.
Were they genuinely...
It was in jest, but I think because we were getting it from like everywhere, I was just so over everybody because... Me specifically, if anyone in my close circle is excited about something, I'm the first person they call because they know I don't disappoint. Like if you call me, you tell me you got a new job, you tell me any good news, because you know sometimes when you call someone and you have good news and they're like, that's good for you.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, what the fuck? I'm so excited. I just want you to be happy for me. I'm always that person for my friend group. I will always deliver. I'm on your team. I'm so fucking happy for you.
Yes.
And the fact that I didn't get that from them and they were being dicks to me, I was like, oh.
Okay, Jessica, have I or have I not pointed out from time to time that sometimes you also like to make things about yourself at times? So could you also have seen yourself if your family, you do the same thing to your family?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Like when they went to Hawaii. And nobody invited Jess to go with them to Hawaii.
No. That was a joke, but I honestly was the most supportive person ever.
Were you or were you not?
No, my sister was pissed. I was stoked.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
So
they had me on FaceTime. I was like, let's go, Jack Sparrow. Go find that whale. Like, I was just totally for it.
So never once were you like, because come on, we can be honest about this. Sometimes you get a little, well, why wasn't I invited to this? Why wasn't I invited to this?
No, my parents, my parents, I've been like so team Mike and Laura of them living their best lives. I've talked about it multiple times on the podcast. I've talked about it multiple times on air, which is why when they came at me, I was like, oh, hell no. I'd be out here talking y'all up. I'm loving
hyping y'all up,
I'm loving Mike and Laura in their 50s right now.
Yeah.
They are thriving and they're goals for me. And I've been so vocal about that.
Right.
So when I got like an ounce of shade, I said,
Excuse me. So your plan on retaliation.
I'm not going to tell anybody we're going.
You're not going to post a picture or anything?
No, I may post a picture, but I'm not like giving any warning. Nothing. And especially with my friends, I was so pissed because here's my thing about my friends.
I was going to say, first off, there's no way that you could possibly.
No, I'm posting.
In your soul.
But I'm turning off the comments.
Go to.
And no, let me say this about my friends though. The reason why me and Garage were super hurt too is because all me and Garage do is watch my family and friends hang out together on screen.
Yeah.
They're all fucking partying. They're all having the best time of their lives. And we have never, ever, ever been sad, grumpy, fucking Eeyore over here about them having such a fun time. All we've ever been like, we're just so happy that like they're getting close and they have each other and that's rad.
All right.
When we went home, we weren't all fucking sad girl about it. We're like happy to be with everybody.
Okay.
So if anyone was to like be a little sad boy and a sad girl about it, it's us. And so, like, we're by ourselves. We don't ever do anything. And so, for one of our best friends to, like, bring us along, the fact that, like, we got no love from the homies, I was like, fuck y'all. That really hurt me.
Can we call your dad?
No.
Why?
I guess.
Let's just call him and see if he was genuinely upset that he wasn't invited.
No, he wasn't invited. I want to tell him what the reaction I got from the friends, and then he can tell me.
Okay. Text me his number.
I can't.
Why? Oh, you're on that. We just dial him in there then, and I'll just pick it up.
What do I do? 1 or 9?
1, and then just the number. I want to see. I I want to get Dad's reaction about not being invited to.
I have to tell him though what I have to tell him what happened. He doesn't even know what happened.
Maybe like turn your mic off. You want to have like a private conversation?
This is 9.
Sometimes
Wait,
I'll tell you what. Well, just one. I don't think it's 9, but double check. While we're here, we'll say hi to everybody on our YouTube show. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Of course, you can always come watch our YouTube show on Wednesdays around 10:45 Eastern. It was 11 o'clock today. We were a little late. I'm sorry. Queen Pam, hi. And G, what up? And Lexi and Ashley. So good that that you guys are here. Really appreciate it. And you can always come on and hop on. And
Can I talk to you real quick?
our families hate us, by the way.
On the podcast.
Hey, Jack, you can real quick and tell me what hates you?
Okay, it'll be okay.
Imagine that was your life. Imagine anybody that's older right now, you got kids. Like imagine they just called you like, hey, can I just bring you on Rook and tell you why I hate you right now?
No,
Like,
and
okay.
right now when I call him like, hey Dad, can I talk to you? He's like, yeah, what's up? And I was like, it's for the podcast. He's like, oh, all right.
All right, we good to bring him on?
Yeah.
Hello, Mike.
Hey, Kramer.
How are you, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
We're doing well, thank you. We just got a little family issue we just want to talk through with you really quick. Nothing, nothing. I'm trying to figure out if
Why
this
is it always? Why is the call always an issue? Why can't you just call and say hello? Why is it always a family issue? Or what is
Great
it?
question.
It's mainly
Great
that,
question.
It's not so much that it's just an issue. I don't think
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so explain to him why you're you're all turned up today, Jess. What's the problem?
Okay,
Jesus.
so I was a little hurt by a few people because of the reaction that me and G got for going to Disney World from people.
What people?
Well, some
Thanks
close.
for asking.
Thanks for asking,
continuing
Dad.
the conversation there, by the way. Thank you.
So some friends of ours basically were just being super mean about us going and like not being included when really like it's not like no one told you that you couldn't come. You know what I'm saying? Like no, it's not like none of us were like you're not invited or anything. Like people could have come through, you know? It's not like everyone's jumping on a plane over to Baltimore to visit us or anything. So
Shade.
you know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
I was super hurtful about, you know, like
Right.
Butter was throwing shade. Y'all low-key threw some shade.
Okay.
Dad,
Jess feels like there was some family
you and
shade.
Mom low-key
that,
shade at
that
me.
was that was
You're
was,
actually. I don't think you're wrong. I think we were low key, as you say, shade because Disney World's something we've talked about a lot as kids growing up when you guys were younger, and that we always wanted to go there.
okay. See, now this is a different perspective that Jess wasn't giving us. Jess was just like, oh, I don't know if out of nowhere.
No, wait,
we
Dad-
never talked about Disneyland before our lives.
Dad,
Disney World in our lives.
you never explained that to me. You didn't explain that to me. The shade was just shade in the moment, and it was hurtful. And you didn't even go into that explanation. with
Okay,
me.
I will be the judge here, Mike. I want to hear your side of
Okay.
of the Disney World situation. Like, when you found out the feeling and why you may have thrown some low key shade.
I won't be low key. I was low key about it. I think I said that's bullshit that you went to Disney World.
Yes.
Wait,
And-
were you
and we-
mad? Like, were you genuinely mad
No,
about it?
that's what he said
I
to me.
wasn't. No. I was genuinely. I was not mad.
It was
I
in
was
jest.
disappointed
Okay.
because it is something that we have talked about growing up. And Jessica, I don't know how come you forgot this.
Okay.
But we've talked about
Oh my God, Dad.
Something we've talked about going to Disney World, something I really want to do. And I want to do it while you guys are still young enough to go, whatever, right? But again, it's not like every year I said, hey, this is the year we're going to plan to go next
Right.
year. I didn't
Right, I'm
keep
28
that
years
you know,
old
in
now.
the forefront.
28,
Right.
28 and waiting, Dad.
You had 28 years to
Yeah,
get it
yeah,
right,
you
Mike.
had 28 years. Like there was no plan, no no graphing out. Like there was and nothing set in place by 2021.
Wow. Okay.
Nothing.
She makes a valid point. Okay.
Yeah, no, she's not.
But yeah,
no.
he said
Like
that's
I
bullshit.
she's not wrong.
So-
She's not wrong on both accounts. She's not wrong in what she just said about her being 28, and she's not wrong that we threw shade at her because we were disappointed.
Yeah.
We were disappointed.
Now, did Jess tell you ahead of time that she was going to go, or did she tell you? Did you find out after?
No, Kramer, I found out. I found out on Instagram.
No.
that she was Disney World.
I told
Okay.
Mom
I
ahead
didn't
of
know.
time. I told Mom
Well-
ahead of time, and that's her bad for not telling you because pretty much if I tell her, I assume any information I share with her
Weren't you
is
just-
going to get to you.
Hey, let me ask you this: when did you know you were going?
When?
Well, I've known for a while, Mike, to be fair.
I told Mom immediately when I found out I was going to go.
It was like probably a month before.
I'd like to know, did you know you were going before you came to visit us in July?
No.
Be honest, Jessica.
No.
Jesus listens to this podcast.
Wait, I don't know.
Did you know,
because,
Jessica?
Like I said,
I don't think I knew.
Idea. What?
I don't think I knew
honestly,
before
Mike,
I was going.
I think she did mention it after she got back, to be fair, but I can't. I don't want to be 100%.
I think that was after.
Held accountable for that statement.
Right. So again, I found out, as I find out most things you do, from your Instagram feed. Woo! Right. That's where I found out, and then I remember coming out of the back of the house.
Oh my God.
Coming out from the front room, I'm saying to your mother, "What the fuck is Jessica doing at Disney?"
But Dad. You know what though? I'm hurt by that because I feel like I feel like
it's getting so deep now. There's so many layers. So many layers.
I feel like I'm basically the Mike and Laura cheerleader of the squad. Like you and Mom are literally thriving and living it up, and I feel like I'm the most supportive of that. So I was hurt by you guys that I got shade from y'all when all I do is rep you. I'm ride or die for the Mike and Laura train. You guys fucking going to Napa and Hawaii and the wineries and like getting tattoos in the kitchen.
Hang on a minute.
I'm number one.
Hang on a minute.
Take a deep breath.
Okay.
And let's think about the evolution of where you are now in supporting your mom and I. Because there was a time when your mom and I were doing shit. You're like, what do you guys do? What are you guys doing? Buying a car, going here, going there.
Okay.
Dad, are you going to judge me? Are you going to judge me on my early 20s?
It's valid.
No.
Are you going to judge me on my early 20s of life? I'm almost 30
No.
years old.
I just said the evolution that you're now at. That's true. And I agree that you are happy that we do things. And we were happy after I got past the initial disappointment. I said, how was it? You have a good time? You had a great time?
After.
I asked you about it.
After he said that's bullshit, then he was like, how was Magic Kingdom?
But Mike, let me go back to the main point here.
Yeah.
Was there ever a discussion with the family that like the first time that you guys go to Disney World, you were all going to go together? Was that expectation set?
Like set in stone.
Or just set?
I have to say, yeah. I mean, there's no way.
Dad.
Let me tell you why. But hang on. I'll be fair on both sides of the aisle here, right? I know when I talked to your mom that if we ever went to Disney World or to Florida, whether for work or otherwise, I was always going to bring you guys to go to Disney World, right? That was always the plan. Now, I didn't come to you, like I said, in the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, say, Jessica, if you ever consider going to Disney World,
don't you dare go without me. Yeah, you've never said that to me because you know I would never do that to you.
Said that.
Okay.
I just said that. We never said that to you. I agree. But then again, Jessica, here's the thing. When you were living in San Diego, you going to Disney World was so far from my idea that you would do that.
True.
So I never thought to say it to you.
No, I never thought I was going to make it to Florida. I know that.
Okay.
And I've said that.
let me rule on this, okay? Because I've heard both sides now, and I understand because Jess is over here thinking, hey, like. We never had. There was no. Did you have any idea that your family wanted to take a family trip just to Disney?
If my dad was like, Jessica,
that one wish in life before I die, there's one thing I want to do.
My father came to me and was like, my dying wish is to go
That's not a dying
to
wish.
Disney World.
Yeah.
With you, I would shoot everything down, and I would not step foot in Orlando, Florida, without my father. If that was a discussion that we had and an agreement that we had, I would never, ever, ever do him dirty like that.
I will rule on this case, and I'm going to actually give credit to Jess. Because Jess did not know that there was any type of – in your head, Mike, I can see why there would be a plan because you're like, if I ever have a chance to take my daughters, it's fine. But Jess literally didn't know. Now, I do think she could have done a better job of letting you know she was going to go, as close as you guys are.
Well, Dad, I mean –
absolutely.
No,
I agree with that.
But
I do
Dad,
agree. You should not find out that your daughter is in a different state on Instagram.
No.
I completely agree with it.
Right.
Yeah,
Dad, I assume that all phone calls I take with Mom are on speakerphone because typically they are. 99% of the time, actually, I think I could say 100% of the time, if I'm talking to one of you, the other one chimes in like 50 seconds into the conversation. I apologize.
If I'm home or she's home and we're in the same room, then absolutely, because we enjoy talking to you. But not every time that you call. am I in the room or am I home?
Well, I assume that she would have shared that information with you, so I'm sorry.
Jessica?
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. Here, Kramer, let me say this.
Yeah.
I appreciate, and I can appreciate your ruling because you're absolutely right. With this, we did not. I'm
Sure.
not making a point to tell her if you go there, you must invite us or let us know in advance and give us a chance to go. However, thankfully, Jessica, where are you going? Where are we taking you next year?
Oh.
Where are we
Watch
taking
this.
you
Mic
next
drop
year?
for that to happen real hard.
Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Is it all expenses paid trip
Yeah,
for Jess
she's not
too?
paying for anything. No.
That's kind of dirty,
No,
man.
Dad.
That's kind of dirty. You could at least give your dad a heads up to have the opportunity to come see you there
Well,
for the weekend.
yes. No, next time
I am now-
I will say. So, Dad, I'm gonna
I'm
listen,
changing
let
my
me tell you.
ruling.
No,
I'm changing
don't
my
change
ruling.
it.
Yes,
Don't
it's
change
being
it.
changed.
No, it can't be changed because here's the thing. Let me say this. It just would have been nice to get some support because, Dad, not only did I get the shade from you, I got shade from
No.
everybody else in the 209, and I was like, you know what, y'all? It would be nice that
But
if
my
Jessica.
shade was so short. It was so short in I didn't
But
say
it was
much
so
more.
deep, Dad. It was deep.
Okay, let's ask our YouTube
right.
YouTube viewers
Thank you.
right now who was in the right and who was in the wrong of this situation.
Right.
Lexi says I'm usually on Jess's side because it's Disney, but I would have been upset too. Okay, see, okay.
Thank you.
She said said when I went to Disney World, I literally took my entire family with me, and there is a lot of us.
I was invited
So-
to Disney World. I was invited to Disney
According
World.
to Lexi, you should have made the opportunity to do it. Now let's
Thank
go to
you,
Ray.
Lexi.
Ray over here is saying Jess is in the right.
Thank
it
you, Ray.
really was.
Oh.
I feel seen, Ray.
No obligation was actually due to actually tell your family that you were going. Jess, I'm going to retract my ruling.
You can't do that.
Yeah, I can because I didn't realize it is true. They could have gone to Hawaii without you. They at least included you.
No, but they did already. They did already.
Well,
That's
no,
why
no.
my dad's taking us because they went to already.
Hang on. We went because we got invited. Just your mom and I did. And
See?
and when
Exactly.
hang on.
So we're
hang on.
literally
And
in the
when we
same
got there-
position, Dad.
And when we got there, the first thing we thought, we got to come back here and bring the kids. That's the first thing we thought about. We got to come back here and bring the kids.
You
And what
got
did we do?
invited.
First thing they thought.
You got invited,
Yep.
and I was supportive. Who wasn't supportive? Michaela.
Okay, then let me ask you a question then, Jessica. One more
Dad,
comment.
I have something to tell you though.
While we have you here, wait. Nado on YouTube also just said Mike and Laura should go to the Jonas Brothers concert tonight in San Diego. So they're in San Diego tonight. You should just go and not invite
Mike and
Jess,
Laura.
and then that'll really
There
get
you go. I
that'll really
love
get to
it.
her.
So, Dad, I was really upset and heartbroken about the lack of support I received from my family and closest friends. And so I intended to go to Disney World in October, and I wasn't going to tell anyone. And I'm not going to do that. I am going to let you know that I'm planning on going back to Disney World in October. So if you'd like to come with me, you should come.
I appreciate the invite. I will talk to your mother.
Okay, look at this. We brought the family back together. It really worked out well. We both learned lessons on both sides, and I think that's a compromise. Because I think it would be fun for you guys. You guys are such a close-knit family. I know it's a far flight, but to be able to experience that together,
Yes.
I think it'd be super fun. So everybody feel good about this?
I feel great about it.
I do.
Mike, you good?
Much better.
Okay.
I am good.
All right, there we go.
All right.
He's the
Love
best.
you,
Thank you,
Jeff.
Mike. See you, man.
Bye, Dad. Love you.
Bye, guys.
I can't wait to listen back to this and have more anxiety. That was the most anxiety-inducing conversation. Y'all get lit together.
Yeah.
Who are you closer to, your mom or your dad?
Both of them, it's very, very different ways.
Depends.
Yeah, it depends on the situation.
If you had to only save one's life, who are you gonna save?
I would die.
But you had to.
No, I would kill myself. I would literally die.
Okay.
I couldn't. I wouldn't. I would die. I would die with them.
I just want this to sink in for us. There's that comment just to sink in for a second. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to take a quick commercial break right here for our podcast listeners, and we'll come back with more of Kramer and Jess Uncensored. Actually, I'll do a little tease before we go into spots. Jess said, "Let me go first today," because what was your reason of letting you go first? Typically, Jess brings something and I bring something. It's like our wildest thing we can't talk about anywhere else but here. And why did you want to go first today?
Just because your shit's so crazy. I was like, let me just do my shit first. That way I can just chill.
Relax. Sit back and enjoy the
It's
shit show.
sometimes hard to pick it up after.
I get
He's
it.
like, I want to date an ugly girl. And I'm like, well, I'm just, my boyfriend's mom's going to visit. So, it's really hard for me to, come back from that. So I'd rather just go first from here on out.
All right, back in a second, folks. All right, and we're back. Okay. Here's the Jess is bracing.
What?
Jess is bracing. I have a genuine question, and I'm not meaning to be offensive at all whatsoever. This question.
Why?
It's about race. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh
It's not. I'm
my
kidding. I'm
God.
kidding. I'm kidding. No. It's not. It's not.
Okay.
Do old people
Fuck. What?
do old people still get it on?
Oh, they totally do.
I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay.
Yeah.
Do old people still get it on? And I'd love YouTube, if you got any comments on this, please. And you can always call our voicemail to 855 Kramer Jess. But do old people? Oh wait, do old people still? Are we on the air? No. Do old people still get it on or not? And you can use your own definition of old. But some of this story, I can't tell you the full story yet because I'm going to save it for the air tomorrow. But long story short, and just the spoiler alert for tomorrow's show, for Thursday's show, if you're going to listen, is I am going to go on a date with a 59-year-old woman on Saturday. Okay. I don't want to say much more than that. I'm gonna save it for the air because it's like
Yeah.
more than I thought it was gonna be. It's a funny story, so I'm gonna save it for the radio. Okay, but just know that's the conclusion. I'm gonna go on a date this on Saturday with a 59-year-old woman. I'm 38. Okay.
Yes.
And we had this conversation on air last week about, because this woman had asked me out. Did I tell us on the podcast last week?
I don't
know. We were talking about the quote unquote
No.
ugly girl situation last week.
Uh-huh.
But so since we didn't say it on the podcast, a woman that lives in my condo pretty much asked me out. She heard me over talking to the woman that works at the desk about how I'm divorced and she's divorced, and she basically
He was just like, I just wanted a rich woman to take care of me.
Yeah.
And then
Out of nowhere.
Miss Queen in the back was like, okay.
It
Yeah.
literally was not involved in this conversation. She was across the room and she was like, I agree with that. And I was like, what? Like, almost like I manifested. It was crazy.
Yes.
Turn around, this woman's like, I agree with that. I'm like, oh yeah, huh? She's like, are you divorced? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I'm divorced too. I've been divorced twice now. And she's like, I honestly, I didn't know how old she was this time. I only date younger guys. It's a lot more fun. We actually get a lot from each other.
Yes.
And I was like, okay. She said my last boyfriend was 35. And I'm like, dang, okay. So I'm like, how old are you? She's like, I'm 59. I said, if you don't mind me asking, she said, I'm 59. I said, dang, okay.
Yeah, and Kramer's like freaking out and
Little
being
bit
super
low-key.
weird, and she's just like, what's up?
Yeah, like to her it was just normal, and I've never. I didn't. First off, I didn't even know the conversation. I thought we were kind of like playing around with each other, just kind of be flirty, whatever, you know. And then at the end of the conversation, she asked for my number.
Yeah, because she's about to put you on her rotation, player.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So all week I've been sitting here because I gave it to her because I was like, I'm not gonna be disrespectful. It feels like my mother, you know, like it's like my elders. I gotta
Don't
be
say
some,
that.
But that's how it felt.
Disrespectful.
But in that moment, that's how it felt. You know what I mean? Like this is
Okay.
an older person. I just was taught to respect your
You're
elders.
caught off guard.
I couldn't be like, no, this is weird. So I gave her my number. And all week I've been sitting here like kind of panicked about like, if she were to call, even what would I say? Like, am I like, is it a date situation? Is it what? I'll tell you tomorrow on the radio what actually happened. But long story short is we're gonna hang out and do something on Saturday, and I'll explain more tomorrow. Okay. Now, with that said, last week on the air we were talking about age differences in relationships, and let's just say hypothetically, let's play the situation all the way out. Say I were to go out with her this weekend, things were awesome, and for some reason let's say there are feelings for each other.
Yes.
And we were to hang out more. I just started thinking last night, I'm like, damn, like, do old people still get it on though? Like, can they still get it on?
Yes.
You know, like functionally.
Don't we hear? There's always those stories about people of them having to like keep each other out of their rooms in like senior
Dang, it's
homes
true.
because they're all having sex.
Yeah. I just wonder, because that's one thing that I really. It's important. I mean, it's important to any relationship. But I've shared with you guys that
Should
like.
probably change your life.
Do you think it's wild like that though?
I just feel like she just had. I just feel like she's just trying to help you out. She's just gonna show you a whole new world. I don't know. She just sounds so in control and just so mature from what you shared with me on the interaction. You know what I mean?
Well, that's my concern is like if it were to progress. Again, I'm playing the whole situation out here,
Yes,
right? Going through, and I'm genuinely asking the question, like, do older women still get it on? Because I think I've shared that with you before. Is that my ex-wife and I, our sex life terrible, not good, and so for a decade of my life,
It was fucked up.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I just don't like. I want to make sure it's like important. I'm not like a fiend by any means, but I want to have like an okay, healthy sex life with somebody.
Why would you think that a woman wouldn't want to have sex at that age anymore?
I
think that's such a not true thing to say.
You know how they say, I feel weird saying this, even on the Uncensored podcast, but if we're talking about like my inner thoughts here, well, they say the old guys can't get it up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm wondering, can old women do their version of get it up?
I don't know. But see, the thing is, like, but also, which I mean, we're not going to get too into that, but there are things to help both men and women when they need assistance in that department.
True. Okay. You can fabricate.
There's things.
It feels weird even saying. Why does that feel weird?
There's pills and lube, and we all know it. And if you need it, then you use it, and if you don't, then you don't. So
I'm wondering too.
I don't think that should even be the issue.
Because obviously, I can't talk about this on the radio because people go, "Rah." But like older women's libidos, like because what we talked about in the radio was more like compatibility when it comes to like things to talk about, things to do, and people call it in with that. But like sexually, if you are
like sex drive,
I'm just saying, like, if you're that age differenced, you know, how was the sex with that situation? You know what I mean? Like, if you're a woman and you're with a guy that was much older than you, like, how was it? And was it the same? Was it comparable to someone your age? Was it better because with experience? Was it worse because they're just older? I don't know. I've never, like, the oldest person I've ever had sex with was 2 years older than me. So like that's the only experience I have to go off of, right? Mm-hmm. But I just keep getting in my head like I don't know that older women I don't know about older women's like sex lives, you know?
Yes.
You can call us if you've got some feedback on this. I really would like to hear from people that have that age difference and hooked. It doesn't even have to be a relationship. You just hooked up with somebody. Should we say 10 years plus difference? Or is that is that not enough?
That's fine.
You want to do older?
No, 10 should be fine.
Okay. 10 plus. I want to hear that story about like your sex life and like was it better, worse, or neutral? Again, playing this way down the field here, but go with me here.
From all the stories that I've heard from my friends that have hooked up with people 10 years older, they just sounded really, really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe it's so because sometimes you hear that like there's like almost like a second lease on life.
Yes.
It's kind of like I'm going to put this in your parents' perspective. Just go with me here. But like,
don't be
I know
gross.
not sexually.
Don't ruin my life.
But like, they're out living their lives. You know what I mean? Like kids are out of the house. Like they're kind of like reborn again. You know. And guess how old are your parents? They're your young 50s, right? Young mid 50s.
Yeah,
so
mid-50s.
this woman's a couple years older, so I can kind of like visualize that. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that comment means from Darren. Do you?
Oh, that's regarding my dad.
Oh, okay. Let me go. I'm gonna read some of your comments about the older. What's it like to hook up with somebody significantly older than you?
This is what I was referring to as well.
Tell me, Jess. Read this comment from Darren on our YouTube channel.
Darren said, yes, they absolutely do. There have been studies done that show STD rates in nursing homes are ridiculous because obviously they have to be doing something. Yeah, all they have more than enough time on their hands, and they're just kicking it and having a good time.
Queen Pam?
Hell yes. Hell yeah. That's what she said.
Queen Pam, you out there, huh? You still out there in those streets?
Because why not? Like, why not? Yeah. Like, why would you put an expiration date on somebody like that? Like, no, if it's about connection. The sex drive is going to be there if the connection and passion is there.
Ray says that women's sex drives go up, and that is true, by the way.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that is, but like to a certain point, I think at a certain point, then it goes back down. Science-wise, I know 30s is like the peak, but I don't know. So that's what's like going through my head about this woman. If you got any kind of like feedback about hooking up with people that are, you know, age difference than you, if you've done it before, I really would like to hear your story. 855 Kramer Jess. We got a lot of phone numbers for this show. 855 Kramer Jess. Or you can always, like, we'd love for you to be here in real time. You know, if you can be here on Wednesday mornings and just to kind of comment, we can always read your comments too. Here goes Lexi right here. She said, the best sex I ever had was with somebody 20 years older than me. How about that? And Lexi, why? Like, why? But like, what was the difference, do you think, that was like made it so much better? Because you think that like, because what I'm going off here, Jess, is like, okay.
That's what my friend said about someone that they had sex with that was over 10 years older than them too.
Was the best they ever had?
Yeah.
Damn, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll keep you posted. Again, I don't expect to hook up with her on Saturday by any means.
We're just talking hypothetically
We're going down the old rabbit hole here of like, do old people still get it on or not?
Yes.
Lexi said it was experience. Experience. So he was like, all right, okay, we tried it all at this point. That's fun. 855 Kramer Jess. If you got a story, we'll play it on next week's podcast. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me go first.
Yeah, you see why? Now, no, and then Jess comes in. I'm going to Disney.
I want to go to Disney World.
My dad, he didn't invite me. And I'm like, I'm banging old women.
Oh my god.
All right, we call this Kramer and Jess Uncensored. Thanks a lot for being here. Yeah, there's so much Kramer and Jess freaking content out there. It's ridiculous. I don't know how you keep up with all of it, but God bless you. If you listen to every piece of content we create throughout the week,
thank you.
I'm gonna send you something. Just let me know. Would you be honest? But that's impressive.
Yeah, that's Queen Pam right there.
Queen Pam keeps up. Pam, I'm gonna send you something. You deserve it. So there's a ton of content. You got the Kramer and Jess on-demand show, and that's like the radio show condensed into about 30 minutes. Pretty surface level stuff, but it's fun. It's a fun way. It's a morning radio show, people. That's Kramer and Jess on demand. That's in the show notes. Jess has a podcast. It is back. So good. It's very emotional. It's deep. It's the deepest of probably anything we do here.
Yes.
What's it called?
Lowkey. You can get that on all podcasting platforms. And you can follow me on social at Just Do It, JESSDUITT.
I've got a podcast called Certified Mama's Boy. It's a daily podcast as well. So you can go check that out. And then there's this one, Kramer and Jess Uncensored. So thank you so much. We love you. We'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.